Can you hear me, Steve?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
All right. And I see Mr. Rhodes is online with us as well.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I
Yes, sir.
can.
Okay.
I've got 6 o'clock, and the quorum is present. Anytime you're ready.
Okay, let's get this thing going. Um, I would like to call this special regular session meeting for the Bath County School Board's order on July 25th at 6 o'clock p.m. I guess you guys could hear that.
Sir.
Item number 2, discussion and action on appointing a vice chair for the remainder of 2023. This time I'd like to make a motion to appoint Brenda Holder as vice chair for the remainder of 2023.
Second.
Motion's been made by John, the second's been made by Eric. Is there any further discussion on the item? If there's no further discussion, then all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. The motion carries 3-0. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on change order request for the Bath County High School miscellaneous renovations project BG 22-376.
Present tonight, we have Mr. Rice from Pax Walker, Mr. Rhodes from Pax Walker, Mr. Tim Thompson, and Jonathan Ruiz, RTA, is en route and will make it here either before or after the meeting. So if any of you gentlemen want to step up.
Well, have y'all reviewed the information?
I think Mr. Rice just passed out 3 packets for us.
And if Rob's there, he can go over that with you. It's the lobby area, the ceiling replacement. You've got 2 options there, and that did not make it. Now, Rob, you correct me if that did not make it in the final design.
That's correct.
But so therefore, do you want to revisit that? And that way it would look similar to all the other ceilings. And so with that option, it would be an add of $14,357. Now, if you choose to leave it as is, then actually there'd be a little credit.
With that being said, what will take place there, like with option A, if you was to replace it, the ceiling tile that is there now will be removed, the grid will be removed, new ceiling tile will go in. If I'm not mistaken, the existing lighting, the lighting gets changed out anyway. I believe that was in the base bid. Is that correct, David? The lighting was in the beginning?
Yes. And yeah, and this in the lobby area, so it is a high visible.
Well, let me interrupt you.
You go right ahead.
I'm not sure. Well, I know they don't know what we're talking about. So, that's proposal number 1 was an omission in there, and
Yes.
so it's outside the auditorium.
Yes, when you come it's right out of the auditorium, between the auditorium, really between the fire doors and the cafeteria. It's that space that's in between there. And with that, if you go with option B, which is the credit, the only thing that'll take place there'll be the demo work of the duct line that comes out and then Donahue will still put the registers through the wall. But with option B, you'll get the complete ceiling remodel also along with it. It's just whichever you prefer that you want to do. I don't know what took place with this ceiling area, but somehow it was left out of the scope at the beginning. That's the reason I had to revisit it.
And so what they're saying is, instead of truncated lines running in the ceiling, they're just going to go where the bank is and have two big blowers blowing the AC out. And if I'm correct, these are 2x2 tiles. That's what everything else will have. And currently there's 2x4 tiles. So it'd be a tile 2 inches wide and double long. And so that wouldn't match. So you're going to pay $12,526 in essence to change your tiles.
Change tiles, the grids, different things like
And
that.
you would, and you'd have a trunk running that the air would be blowing out instead of coming out the side. Is that right?
The trunk will be removed and it'll be blowing out the, I guess it'd be the records room. Is that what that is right there? Right there, Tim, where the door is, the middle door? Yeah.
It was above the bank.
The school bank, yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Jonathan just came in. He could probably give you more explanation better
No.
than what I could with that on O2, PRO2.
Do y'all know the exact location that we're talking about? All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Jonathan, would you like to explain O2 maybe a little more in depth than what I have, PRO2?
Might be redundant from what Rob had just described. But in short, the original intent for that we're going to call phase 1, or in the drawings area B, was to fully replace the ceilings with the HVAC work. Turns out when we went right before to bid, those ceilings in the lobby alone was somehow missing from the document. So right now, the current ceilings are going to remain in that lobby alone. Looking at the history of the building, it looks like they were added in '06, so they're maybe halfway at their lifetime expectancy for just life cycle. So they're not in bad shape. It's just a preference if the board would like to proceed with including that ceiling replacement. Just to summarize, so a lot of the other ceilings are definitely getting replaced. It's just a preference on if you want that one lobby to be at the same brand new condition like the cafeteria would be, or the adjacent gym lobby.
Jonathan, the question was asked. The lights will be replaced regardless.
Correct. Yes, the lighting work, the sprinkler work, even the HVAC work is already still in there. With this price, we looked at making it be more cost effective for the mechanical work. So in the backup information for the total change order, there was, for just the ceiling cost, it's about $16,000 to fully replace it. But to revise the mechanical work, that saved an overall $2,000 for what the current HVAC intent is. So we tried to get it as much as possible with the overall intent. It's just a preference if the expectation was for having that ceiling newer. Now is a chance to do so. If not, they can still do all the other work, the lighting, HVAC, sprinklers, all that with the existing ceiling in that lobby alone.
Would you like for us to go over the other one, or do you all want to discuss this one? Or
Yeah, let me ask a couple questions. Mr. Evans and Mr. Thompson, especially Mr. Thompson, you're kind of, living and breathing this project right now, day in, day out with our contractors and our construction managers and architects. I think we really rely on your all's opinion. I mean, I'm in that room in basketball season. I don't see anything that jumps out at me as, just really, offensive. It needs to be fixed, replaced, or whatever. But at the same time, you guys have a better, your finger on the pulse right now. What if this needs to be done or not? So, what would be your all's opinion from the owner's point of view?
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, I can take it either way. I hate to answer like that. My only concern is whenever they demo out the ductwork, what kind of damage is going to happen to the grid, what kind of damage is going to happen to the existing tile. Probably going to lose some, and then I'll have to put fresh tile in, and it's not going to match, most likely because of the age of all the rest of the tile that is in the field. And you got to keep in mind, you're going to have a new dining room, you're going to have a new lobby area, so it could it could very well stick out like a sore thumb, so to speak, on that.
And those are 2x4s as well, right?
The
Current.
current ceiling tiles is 2x2, and if this change order for PR2 is executed, it would be replaced with more 2x2.
Okay, I thought we said they were 2x4. It's okay. It's okay.
As of right now, the ceiling looks really good and is in good shape.
Well, let me ask this question, and I know this has to do with the way this particular part of the project comes together. Is this a decision that we could make in a month or two, after some of that work is done, and we see, you know, if a lot of damage gets done, then we could come back to it and say, yeah, let's go ahead and do that, or just tell me what, I think you understand what I'm asking there.
Yeah.
Could it be, could this decision be made at a later time, or does it need to be made tonight?
Technically, the pricing that was quoted is only good for 30 days. I think that's the standard for their quote.
Yeah.
So there's always a potential that they could ask for more money later. Time sensitive, though, in my opinion, it's not time sensitive. They are demolishing ceilings at the moment, or at least part of the ceilings in the building. So whether it's today or at the August board meeting, that ultimately doesn't impact the schedule, I don't believe. However, just the quote, it might inflate if it goes beyond 30 days from when we received it, which I think we received it on in June. So technically, like, if it's not today, there's a potential that
Right.
it could go higher.
Rob, schedule wise, you okay with that?
Yeah, it's I think the lobby area is not till like phase 6, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere down the line.
Okay, so
it's
you
not
sound like you got some
not a
time.
push right now to make a decision on. It's not as urgent as 3 and 4. That's for sure.
Okay, so it'll be my opinion, and the rest of the board, please chime in what you think, but maybe we let this particular phase sit till we see what happens, and if we need to do it at a later time, we can do it, make this decision at a later time. We just need to make sure that we make it like, you know, in a meeting that's a month or so out, so that we don't delay you all.
You want to discuss all 4, or do you want to take an action on that one?
Does the board have any other input about it?
Can we just go through the whole thing and then we'll make a decision at the end?
Sure.
Do you want me to start with 3 and 4? Okay. Okay. So this one is time sensitive because it impacts the gym parapet right now. Rob worked with Blaze Enterprises to come up with a game plan for how long it would take for the work described here to be completed, and they're looking at minimum 1 month, but up to 2 months to get full demo and I think the actual new parapet rebuilt once it's sequenced with the actual contractors. So that's a little context there. So the intent here for the gym itself was to re-roof it and to fully rebuild the parapet. Per the existing drawings, the parapet from the bearing elevation of the structure of the gym roof up to the top was about 4 feet. So that's what we put in the documents to kind of estimate removing 4 feet and building up to another 4 feet of new parapet. When they started to demolish, they realized that the lowest level of demolition for just the brick, just so it could be a uniform stopping point around the gym, was an additional 2 feet because of one deeper beam. If that beam didn't exist, then we would be fine with the current 4 feet of material being replaced, but because of that beam, we would have to extend down 2 feet, which then, for the 2 different PRs, the demolition and an additional temporary flashing for taking it where it is right now and going further down is the quote of $29,865. PR4 was issued just to address the field work after they confirmed all of the actual existing depths and measurements of the structure. So for the new work, there are 2 options. If you see the image included, I think it would be, it's in the packet. It's details. It's probably towards the end, maybe. It's maybe page 10-ish. You'll see building elevations, and ultimately the pricing difference between the two options is if there's a preference to have the metal panel parapet. Yes, that's drawing right there. Yes, having the metal panel like crop off the top of the existing brick pattern, and that price will get you just for the new work about 68,000. So in total, if that was the goal, for the parapet to work, it would be an additional 97,975 just to stop in the middle of the existing brick pattern to fully make it look integrated and not kind of crop off the top of that existing diamond. Then that would be 74,648, or a combined total with after demo 104,000 and change. So
Actually, the very next page back, you can see what it would look like cropping the diamond shape out. It drops down the middle of it. 5 foot 4 inches and 46 feet long.
mhm.
Takes out the diamond shape, which is option B.
Yes. So ultimately, we wanted to give the board either option. As discussed, it might not be a big deal for the existing brick pattern to be cropped off a little bit because it's only visible on one side of the building. But I know that community members may have questions for why it looks like that, or there might just be a preference just to go ahead and fully make it look integrated. So we just wanted to make sure the board had either option available. Just know that it was an unforeseen condition from the existing structure being deeper at one spot, and because it was deeper at that one spot, it has to be uniformly extended lower another 2 feet.
And the parapet's the reason we're here tonight, so this is the one we'll have to take action. And Tim can talk about it in greater detail, but water's getting into the gym, and if that basketball court gets warped or whatever, and so we have to get things approved tonight so we can get it sealed up. If not, I think you said like September would be, we could be as far back as September if we don't take quick action. And so, you want to? We agree on the same choice as well on the options.
I'm gonna
So-
recommend that, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna ask. I wanted to hear what Tim's opinion was, so yes, go ahead.
I'm gonna recommend go with option A. I believe that, it's the best for this situation.
On that picture of the diamonds, it would cut off the top of the diamond. That faces the ag building. And it's one of those things like, did you even know there was a diamond up there? I did not. And so to spend the extra money just to cover up the tip of that diamond, to me, doesn't make sense. So we're in agreement on that.
Yeah, and I believe it would, speed up the process of fixing that, parapet.
Okay, so do we have some other items?
Yes, sir.
So then we will move on to PR6. Number 6 started out when we were touring the progress of demo of Area C, or Phase 2, exterior doors, and it was discovered that a lot of the doors are within a really thick masonry wall assembly where typically you would have the hollow metal frame abut the actual masonry and not wrap the masonry. Because they wrap right now, the Blaze Enterprises is indicating that they have to saw cut through the thick walls just to remove the frames. Because of that, the current way we're installing the new door frames, there's not a good way to cleanly install the frame without seeing all the rough, ugly, exposed CMU and brick that they have to saw through. So this quote right here is to address uniformly a lot of the exterior doors, 9 in total, that are getting their hollow metal frames replaced with new aluminum frames to match your current Phase 5 white aluminum storefronts. But it's primarily just to make sure that the masonry that remains after demo happens is finished off and looks integrated to the door frame itself, because you don't want to see, exposed grout and cell and a whole bunch of other kind of rebar exposed and your beautifully nice new install frames and doors. Ultimately, the quote here is to add that additional aluminum to the masonry openings after all the demo is completed. And that would be to match the storefront frame. So it would be a white looking trim fit out so that it extends from the frame. It looks intentional. It hides all the ugliness. But because there are 9 total doors, that quote is for $11,183.75. I think, let's see, I guess the best way to kind of show it is the detail, but the detail is what is shown as PR 6.1, and it's probably page 1 or 2, maybe page 2 in your packet, but it shows a jam detail and header detail. It doesn't really do a good job showing the full end product. It's just more of what the contractor would need to do that work, detail-wise.
Then it's highlighted on the drawings, on the packet I give you, each door that would be getting that it's in a red box. So you'll see it on the packet, it's on the prints. It's highlighted with that. That'd be all the exterior doors against the new casing of that.
So in layman's terms, we can either make it pretty or leave it ugly.
Exactly.
Yes.
And safe.
Yes.
And safe. The biggest thing to me, I mean, you can make it look some way, but the safety issue is a whole lot of, you have rough edges, brick, joints, masonry.
What's the timeline on these doors? Are they in progress now, or is it?
No, they need to, we could have, matter of fact, 2 of them could have been done, and that's how we found this. We was gonna do in area C at the end, the BD and the weight room door and the exit door at the end of that hallway. We was gonna do those, and that's when we found this issue and come up with what we need to do, and that's what made us research the rest of the doors.
Just to put a pin in it, again, just PR 3 and 4 are the only ones that are time sensitive. We just felt that since we're already here, if the board wanted to make a direction on number 2 and number 6, those are ready to, have board consideration, but those could wait. Number 2 and number 6 could wait till August, pending the subcontractor doesn't inflate the cost just beyond having it.
Just so we're on the right page, since our last conversation, like, we've dropped one out of here.
Correct.
And so the ceiling is PR1,
PR 2.
PR2.
Mhm.
The parapet, what's PR3?
3 and 4.
What's 3?
3 is the demo of the parapet work.
And then 4 is the
Is the
option A or
new-
B.
Yes, correct.
So,
Of the new work, A
so
or B.
PR4 would be, you'd have to make a motion to accept option A or B.
Correct.
Okay. And then the exterior doors is PR5.
6.
6.
5 is the one that was omitted because,
Okay, so it still counts.
yes.
Okay. The exterior doors.
Mhm.
Actually, excuse me, yes, that's what that, yes.
Yes, sir.
Actually, 3 and 4 are a combination, they have to be together, because it's demo and we put back, so that they considered together.
And 2 is.
The
Ceilings.
lobby, the lobby, yes. And it has all your, on the front cover sheet of your packet, it's got the total prices on each package, so that way you've got it on the front of each one of these. It's like with this one here, it's got option A and option B, that's your total credit on option B, and your total price on option A, what it costs if you chose to go with it.
So which one is this, replacement of tiles?
Is this option 2?
This is option C.
Is what packet this is. It's on that packet, so. Yeah, this is it. Oh, this is PR2, what package you have there. And on your front cover sheet, it gives you option A if you do the ceiling, option B if you don't do the ceiling, you get a credit.
Should we put these different items in different motions? Would that make it clearer?
I think so. I just know that ultimately, when the change orders are executed or drafted, they would be divided up per each contractor, so it'll be a little different. But I would recommend that, yes, it would be per each proposal request, with the exception that 3 and 4, you would have to approve both of them for that to make sense. But
In some form?
Yes.
Fashion. Okay, I I would like to make a motion then on PR 02 that we hold this until the August board meeting.
I second that. Motion has been made by Brenda and seconded by John, to hold item
Discussion.
number 2 and table it till, or postpone it till, a later board meeting.
Discussion?
Yeah, is there any discussion?
Yeah, on the ceiling towers, how long would it take to get it? If we went with the option, either option, how long would we be talking about waiting on supplies? Mm-hmm. Is any of that would be backward? Would it take 2 or 3 months to get in, or?
No, we've got ceiling tile coming in now. We've already got pads, and we've started dropping pads in the area B, where we've already done demo, which it's all the same, so we've already got shipments of it coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's accessible.
Well, I just thought in the August board meeting, we could actually walk out there and look at the tile that's there and have a better visual idea of what.
But you think right now the schedule would have it demolished for the HVAC work only, for example, in time for them to see how the ceiling looks, to see if they actually want to replace it or not?
That work comes later on down. It'll probably be closer to, without looking at the phase plan, I'm gonna say it'd be closer to January for actually we starting that area. Maybe
For the demolition of the HVAC system?
in that part.
Okay. So in August, you would be able to see just like maybe some ceiling tiles. Some ceiling tiles might be removed, but they won't actually have the demolition completed. Thus, you won't have like a full picture of what the condition of it looks like once all the demo is done until maybe November. So, long story short, you could wait until maybe November if that's when all the demolition actually does happen for everything above ceiling to make an assessment. It just means that the subcontractor might say, okay, now we have to add another 2,000 because of lead time on whatever.
Well, I just wanted to be able to look at it and see if there's any water stains or any discoloration or those kinds of things that we can't picture from here.
Okay. But yes, we can definitely do that at the August meeting.
I think you're right, Brenda. I mean, even if we just waited till August and go out and physically look at it, I think that would be a good idea. Okay, any further discussion on that item? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion carries 3-0 to approve, to postpone item number 2. Okay, so I guess the next thing we need to talk about under this item would be 3 and 4.
Correct.
And we're looking at approving, if we're going to approve this, we're going to approve 3 by itself, just 3, and 4A, if I understand it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You want a motion?
Yes, please.
I make a motion to approve PR 3 for demo, PR 4, option A.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Eric and seconded by Brenda. Is there any further discussion on this item? If there's no further discussion, then all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion carries 3-0. And then I guess the last item we need to discuss is item number 6.
PR 6.
Correct.
Tim, what do you recommend?
That's the doors. The doors.
I believe it's a must. We have to have that.
Okay. Is there different options or just approving the doors itself? Okay.
Just it's So,
It's one of those things, the price is only gonna go one way from today, so.
I make a motion to approve PR 6.
I second that motion. Motion's been made by Eric and seconded by John. Is there any further discussion of this item? If there is no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion carries 3-0. Are there any other items under this particular item number 3 that we need to discuss?
I don't have one particularly about the high school, but if we can at some point talk about the LAVEC Phase 2 special inspections, I just want to kind of pitch an idea for how to extend the current high school special inspector to cover the LAVEC scope, but we can talk about that when it's more appropriate.
Yeah, we probably need to do it if at all possible in the August meeting, because it's not on the agenda in a special call meeting. We can only discuss what's on the agenda. Is that gonna work for you? Is that okay?
Yeah, it was ultimately, I wanted to see if there was a preference on proceeding with who already was awarded at the high school. We can get you that for the agenda item for August, or
Okay.
if we were trying to solicit for more than just the current special inspector to do layback. So,
Okay.
yes, we can do that in August.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so sounds like that's all items. Board, is there anything else we need to discuss?
I
That
make
you
a
know of?
motion to adjourn.
Okay, so I want to thank the board members that came tonight, and you guys flew into action very quickly. I really, really do appreciate this, so that we can get these items going. Last item, number 4, adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Brenda seconds. So John made the motion to adjourn. Brenda makes the motion second. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those please signify by saying yes. Yes. All those opposed, no. Adjournment passes 3-0. Thank you very much.